Wesley from Team This Paintball. Today we will be disassembling and reassembling the Tippmann A-5 marker. Okay guys, we have already taken off our cyclone feed system for easy disassembly of our Tippmann A-5 here. If you have any questions about our cyclone system or how to maintain it, go check out our other videos on it. We'll have a link in the description so you can go check that out. Okay, so when taking apart this marker, make sure there's no air tank on, because that's a really big safety hazard, and always have a barrel sock on when you have your air tank on. So let's take off our barrel sock for safety, and then take off the barrel because we don't need it. So for disassembling your A-5, you need the 2 Allen wrenches that come in your package. The first one, the biggest one, is a 3/16 Allen wrench, and this one is just a little bit smaller. I don't know what this is, so comment if you know. And so the first thing you want to do is just take off your push pins. They're really easy, but sometimes can be difficult if your marker's new. And then your back cap comes off with your guide rod and drive spring. And so just set those aside for now. So now you have just your marker right now, and then you just take off this push pin here. There's one in the center of your trigger assembly, and comes right off. So your trigger assembly and your ASA and adapter comes right off. So as you unscrew this, that's what it looks like, and then you just can take off your safety, and then that's your whole trigger assembly right there. So let's set that aside too. So now you pretty much have just your air chamber and your hammer and striker and stuff inside. So we're gonna go get our Allen keys and just start removing these screws. Alright, so you want to remove this one on top where the rear sight is, the one just below it, and you need to remove this screw here, that one, and use the 3/16 Allen wrench to get this one and the one inside there. Alright, so we're gonna just take all those out. I already undid most of them. So this one's just holding in your rear sight, and that'll just pop out like that. So all those are off right now, and there's one more push pin right here. So you want to just take that out. And just 2 at the top here, one holding the front sight in place, and the other one holding the front grip. And then the last one's in here, if you guys can see that. Probably not. This one's a pain to get sometimes. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so your grip just comes right off, and you're about to open up your marker. So as you open it up, you'll notice a couple things. That this piece, it just goes right into the spring side right there. It doesn't really do much, it's just a plastic piece that goes inside the striker. So as you notice, there's the detent. Don't lose that. That's a key part of your marker, and you'll always need that for not breaking balls and not skipping shots. So here is your bolt assembly with your striker, your guide rod, and your bolt itself right there, right here. So I get that out for you guys. So that's what it looks like. And then this is your valve assembly with your chamber and your tombstone adapter right in there. You can just take that out if you need to, but I don't see why you'd need to. And then you have your rear sight over here, your cocking rod spring and your cocking rod. Those don't really do much, just cock your gun back, cock the bolt and striker back so it's ready to fire. And then you got your barrel adapter right here with standard A-5 threads in there, and you have successfully taken apart your A-5, your Tippmann A-5. Alright, so now we're going to reassemble this marker. Tippmann A-5 is really easy to reassemble. Just put it in basically the same way you took it apart. So you put your valve assembly with the tombstone adapter right there, and then you can put your striker in. Make sure you wipe it off with a microfiber cloth. That's always good. Or just any other cloth, paper towel is fine. And then get your bottle of lube, wherever there it is. Okay, get your bottle of lube and just lube this O-ring right here. So put a fair amount and just spread that along, and just go along your striker too. So it's all lubed up, and then you can put that right there. So if you just want to get in here where your balls come into the breech with your microfiber cloth, because nobody likes broken paint in there, and it's a pain if you're gonna always have to clean it. So may as well do it once instead of doing it a whole bunch of times. And then so you just put your valve assembly back in, and then your bolt, you also want to lube that and clean it off. So let's get our lube over here. There's an O-ring on it, just make sure you lube that too. And stick that right on the end of the valve. Next thing you can do is put that screw thing right there, right inside there, and then you want to connect your bolt with your striker. There should be 2 holes, and just connect it in so it moves as one forward motion. So next thing you want to do would be get your there it is. Okay, get your caulking handle and your caulking spring to where it has tension on the spring, and the caulking handle sits inside the little groove right there, the rod. Alright, so let me do that. The spring has a tendency to jump out when you're putting the marker back together, so just be careful of that. So install your little bolt back there. And then you got your barrel adapter right here. Just fit that in. Alright, now that's fit in. The next thing you want to do is don't forget your detent. That's a key part. Shout out to Andrew because he lost it, if you guys don't know. And then so right here, it just slides right in there. And you might want to pull your bolt back just to situate it in that position. Because if you notice, when the balls enter the breech, they sit right there. So the detent is a key part of keeping the balls in the breech as they're being pushed out by the bolt. The next thing you want to do is keep your screw in there. Alright, everything's falling apart. Alright, put your detent back in, and then you're pretty much ready to close up your marker. You want to be very careful with this part, because if you hear that spring jump back, it means this came out of place, which is not good. Because then your gun won't cock and everything will be a mess. I'm trying to find there we go. Alright, barrel adapter wasn't in right. Alright, you want to close up your marker. You're supposed to have this part in too. This is just where the drive spring sits, and it just goes in the back of the hammer right there. So you just want to do this carefully, make sure nothing jumps out. So now that you have the 2 body halves clamped together, you want to start putting in your bolts after you put in your rear sight and front sight. as you can notice now, there's tension on the cocking spring, so that means you're good to go. So you want to put your front sight and your rear sight back in, and then start putting the push pins and screws back in. We don't want that one. Drop the rear sight, or my Allen key. Another thing you want to make sure of is that screw, well, that, I guess you call it a bolt, is there so you can fit your grip frame on, not your grip frame, your front grip, and that just goes in there, and you tighten it down by this one right here, this screw in the bottom of the grip. So now that's tightened down. You want to put in your front sight screw and your rear sight. Well, actually, we already got a rear sight screw. And then your bottom screw there. And this screw is special because it attaches to your cycle and feed system right here. So that's handy. And then you just finish putting these screws back where the place you got them. And make sure they're snug down to a good tightness so they don't fall out when you're playing, because that'd be really bad. Alright, now that we're here, you want to put your trigger assembly and your trigger frame back in the slot where it came from, and then get your safety here, and you just push that in so it's unsafe. And now what we want to do is we want to put in the guide rod and the drive spring, so that they're in the back cap, and hold it all down so it doesn't fling out. And then push your push pin in. They could be hard sometimes, but I'm used to it. And then what you want to do is put your tombstone adapter, well, the ASA side, in to the tombstone, and then just attach it like that. This goes there, and then attach these few push pins. Alright, so now that we got our Tippmann A-5 all ready, it's time to put on the cyclone. So the first thing you want to do is line up cyclone with this spots right there. All you do is slide it in. It should go in pretty naturally. And this part, there should be a little O-ring right there at the end, so don't lose that too, because it's a pain in the butt when you have to replace those. Alright, so you want to put it in to this slot here and screw it down. And then the last thing you want to do is put your 3/16 Allen screw in there and just tighten it down so it holds on your cycle and feed system. And now you're ready to go playing.